This is Live and Let Be
with Live and Be.
It was at the end of January 2024 when, as a regular follower on Instagram, I was viewing your posts. A message popped up, appearing as if it were from you, prompting me to follow a link to Telegram. I agreed, and after setting up my account on Telegram, I was informed that I could communicate with you directly. At first, I was proud to be able to interact with the Olivia Mathers. However, I was also very skeptical and immediately questioned this contact. Are you giggling at my storytelling?
It sounds really good with just no context. Like, I love it.
Time and again, I was reassured that I was lucky to have the exclusive opportunity to communicate with you. I couldn't believe it at first and remained skeptical for quite a long time. As time passed, the contact became more familiar, and I must admit that I developed feelings for this person, for you. It still seemed unbelievable to me. I repeatedly asked for proof of the real person behind the messages, but to this day, I have not been able to uncover the truth. I have not been offered a video call, a selfie, or even a voice message. Today marks 14 months since our first interaction.
I want to tell you that I truly cherish being able to call you my friend or even consider you my girlfriend. Before this encounter, I never imagined I would be able to contact you or that you would choose me. Over time, I introduced myself through Telegram, sharing my entire life story as you requested. I was surprised when you confirmed your feelings for me. This led to a relationship that deepened more and more. However, recent changes in your private life on Instagram made me realize that you might not be the person I have been communicating with all this time. Please don't ask where I got your address from. I would be truly grateful if you responded, as it would clarify what has really happened and whether I can still trust this contact or the person who has been writing to me. Through this entire experience, you have become very important to me, for more than just a social media follower. To be honest, you have become someone I deeply care about, which is why I am writing this letter to you.
It is entirely up to you to let me know what is true and what is not. These 13 months have been a constant question mark for me. I must say that there were many beautiful moments, but also difficult times that made it challenging for both of us to maintain our relationship over such a long distance. Despite this, we continued to write to each other and even confessed our love. Now that you are currently in a relationship with Jack Jeffress, please, if possible, respond to the following or give me a letter to my known address. I still love you to this day, although I have come to accept that your feelings may have changed. Your new boyfriend has completely taken my place since September 2024. Still, I have continued to try and express my love for you, but you have grown increasingly distant.
So I humbly ask you to grant me this one simple wish. It will only take a bit of your time and perhaps a small act of kindness toward a former follower. For the woman who was and is meant for my future life, I remain with love and respect. From the special man who will always love you so deeply.
Welcome to episode 11, guys. You may have gauged the topic. It is catfishing.
I went on a journey with that because I feel really conflicted.
There's a lot of emotions revolving that.
Yeah.
So what you just listened to is a letter I received a few months ago to my doorstep of my private home. Initially, it was quite creepy. There's a lot of questions. Who is this person? How did they get my home address? What was this other person? How are they using my identity?
Yeah.
Then it goes into, I feel sorry for this person. Unfortunately, sir, you have been catfished. I'm not on Telegram.
For one, his writing is impeccable.
It's lovely.
And the font. And he's also done a
wax stamp. He's obviously tried to address it through a very elaborate letter with intentionally lovely cursive text and like a wax stamp, and he's putting all of his information on there to hopefully get that clarity. Like, I do feel bad, but yeah, it's also a demonstration of how crazy social media is and like just the online world and what people have access to, and now with AI and stuff, you just don't know what's real.
It is confronting that he knew where to send it and you still don't know how this person found that out.
Yeah, it's a bit creepy. And to be honest, someone speaking to me in that sort of tone of voice isn't uncommon. So it's very easy for me to go, oh, it's all right. Like, it's harmless, whatever. But then I was like, actually, I should talk to someone who's not in the industry. So I called my dad. I was like, Dad, what'd I do? He goes, cops, immediately, cops. And I'm like, okay, is that the appropriate action to take for something like this?
Well, for anyone not in the industry, as you said, that would be so creepy to them. Like, just randomly receiving a letter, knowing all this information, being in love with you, saying they're in love with you. It isn't normal, and people would freak out, go to the cops.
Yeah, I mean, I've just kept it all in case, this person wants to take it further and show up at my front door. But the letter does explain that he's overseas. It could be a lie. Maybe that's a cover up so that I don't get scared. Like, we just don't know. But it is interesting to think, what responsibility does the person whose identity is being used have in this scenario? Like, is it actually my responsibility to offer this stranger clarity? I mean, I'm kind of doing it today on the pod. I am so sorry that's happened to you, but yeah, it ain't me. It's not me.
Having this relationship and not once has the person FaceTimed you or ever made that move. Like, there's red flags.
When people are so desperate for something to be real, they make excuses for things that they're not getting.
So
like,
true.
Oh, it's okay. Maybe they don't like putting their face on camera, but you can't even say that if you think it's me, because I literally put my face in front of the camera all the time.
Shit. Have you ever had anything else similar to that where someone has used your identity to that extent, or is it just kind of like fake profiles? And
I know that it happens a lot for a lot of people. There's constantly influencers posting a screenshot of an account saying, this isn't me, or this is my only account. If you're getting spoken to by anyone, it's not me. People try and pretend to be models, emailing a photographer that they know this model has worked with to say, I've lost all the photos from the shoot. Can you send them to me again? This has happened a lot. People use other people's identities to be sneaky and get shit.
Yeah, I know. Well, I was listening to this other podcast one time.
Another podcast?
I know. The horror. She had formed a relationship with this guy online, and he was like maybe 2 months in, and they were just chatting like on message. Then they started having calls and stuff, never showing their face. But then he started asking for intimate videos and photos, and she would, because they were like a technically long distance at this point.
Oh.
And she would send it, and he would never send it back. Then after a while, he started asking for more intimate things. She was like, this is weird. I haven't met you now. It's getting to the point of like 5 months. He would say, oh, I'm going to come visit you for the weekend. And then when it would come to that weekend, he wouldn't come. And then there was a time where he was coming to see her. Everything was locked in. He was on his way. So he was driving, sent a photo of like the photo of a certain road where she would know that he's close. She's like, perfect, like he's coming to see me. And then asks for something intimate, like while he's on the way. And she's like, you're almost here. Why would I send that to you? And she's like, no, I'm not sending it. And he started getting really angry. He's like, well, I won't come see you then. And then she ended up sending something and then blocked. He blocked, never spoke to her again, never came. She never ever met him. This was after almost 6 months of going back and forth.
No. In this day and age, we got to be woke.
Yeah.
We got to be fact checking. We've got to be cutting people off if they're not pulling through.
Mm-hmm. To go to that extent of like sending a photo of a familiar road or something on the way to your home, like you would believe that.
But figuring that out as well, like how you're figuring out what route you would have to take from where you are to that person.
Does that mean he's actually in the car doing it? Like, that's a bit weird.
He could have been near her house the whole time, watching her, like trying to watch and see when she's taking the videos and stuff. Bee's showing me her phone screen right now. We've just had a listener write in a truckload of information about a story. I can see Bee's brain just working overtime trying to skim over this. Anyway, what I wanted to say is we've got some more stories to share with you about the crazy world of catfishing. I remember that show. Do you remember it?
Yes.
I loved that show. And they would literally go
and they'd be like in the basement. They're like,
how do you know it's me? If you guys don't know about the show, it's called CATFISHED.
Yeah.
and I think it was 2 guys, was it?
2 guys.
They would take on these cases where the person that thought they were being catfished would call them up and say, hey, look, this is a situation, and then they would go and debunk it with them.
Yeah.
And it might take sometimes like months and months for them to, actually find a lead, but they literally find the person, organize a meetup somehow. They sometimes catfish the catfish to try and get them to meet up. But there's this whole show is about them confronting the catfishers, asking them why they do it, and like just debunking the whole thing and setting both parties free. Just going, stop doing that, and you're not in love with this person.
That show was rogue. Is it still around?
I'm not sure. We'll have to see. We should have a marathon of it.
That was actually a really good show.
Yeah, I loved it.
And yeah, it was either like the best friend or like the brother or of someone or something.
Yeah.
And they come out, they're like, I'm sorry.
Oh, they're always such strange characters.
Yeah.
They've always got some backstory to explain why they've made this decision in their life.
Or it's like a guy to a guy or a girl to a girl.
But there's also cases where the victim, if that's appropriate to say, because you're being lied to, the victim meets the real person and actually still likes them.
Yeah. That's very rare.
It's a thing. But because they've built this whole emotional connection without the face.
This guy, he is a high profile businessman, so it was interesting to hear this story.
So he would have people watching his stuff.
Yeah.
Creating narratives.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I'm so excited.
All right. I'm going to play it.
Okay. It's a bit of a long story, but I'm going to say it from start. I was dating a Ukrainian girl in Dubai when I lived there, because I lived there for 7 years. One day, we got out of an Uber, and as I got out, there was a bunch of young girls that were in shock when they saw me. And I didn't think too much of it, but they were staring, pointing, kind of, I don't know, it was really intense. We ended up walking to a breakfast spot. Anyway, so as we go into the breakfast spot, we go to sit down. And because Dubai is because it gets so hot, all the windows are tinted, so we can see out, but they can't see in. So as me and my girlfriend are sitting there, I see this girl come, and she's like looking for me. Well, I was like, I didn't know if she was looking for me or not, but she's looking through the glass, looking around. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, I started freaking out. I'm like, why are they searching? I go, surely it's not for me. The girl opens the door and starts walking towards me and my girlfriend. I'm like, what the fuck? She walked up and she showed me a photo of me, but a different name, and goes, this isn't you, is it? And I was like, no. And then she started bawling her eyes out and ran off. 5 minutes later, she comes running back in. Or not running, she came back in, and they were both speaking Russian, and she was saying to my girlfriend, she goes, look, I'm really sorry that I came over here, but I've been speaking to this guy for 6 months. He's been sending me videos. We've been dating online for 6 months. I don't know why. I think she was only 18, 19. He was screen recording all of my stories to make it look real. And that's when screen recording just started. And he's been copying my whole lifestyle in the Ukraine for months. And for 6 months, he was playing her around. And then she just happened by fluke to find me in a different country, the real me. She had been catfished with my face for about 6 months. It was mental. Absolutely mental. Apparently the guy's real name was Kirill, and he was an older man, I think it was, who just used everything of mine and pretended to be me. And this poor little girl was so heartbroken, she could not stop crying. Aww. To the point where my girlfriend had to comfort her at the time. It's fucked.
She's I don't want confidence in him.
I actually still feel bad about it.
That poor girl.
Wild though, to run into the real person in another country.
And feel like you're confident enough to approach them because of how close you would feel to them. Screen recording, you dirty dog.
That is commitment though, to take it that far.
I mean, first of all, it's a bloody compliment to old mate, because this guy clearly thinks he's good looking.
Of course.
Oh.
But 18, and this guy's an old man at his computer or phone and just screen recording every chance he gets. Like that
the
is
admin on that.
the admin. But imagine that. Why is she looking at me through the window? Like, what is happening? And then comes up and starts bawling her eyes out because she thinks you guys are in a relationship.
And then it goes back to what I said about how much responsibility does the person whose identity is being used have in this situation? Because now this guy's actual girlfriend is comforting this other girl. You can't really escape it if you do, if you are confronted with it in that way. Oh, that poor girl.
I know. If he didn't run into the real girl, that would have gone on for another however long.
It just makes you think there is such a mixed bag of people and a mixed bag of brains in the platform or the following that you have. Even if it's small, even if you have 2,000 followers, I mean, it's easier to assume that they're all solid people. But how many unhinged people are in 750,000 people?
Oh my gosh.
You just can't be sure that they're all right in the head.
Okay, now we've had another listener write in literally just then, and I think it's a goodie. So
Are you going to word for word it?
yeah, I'll skim through as I go.
Guys, we are reading and digesting this story while you are too. So brace yourselves.
Started when she was 22. Met on Tinder. His name was Daniel, and he said his phone speaker didn't work. When she called him, he would answer the phone but respond via text when she was on the phone talking.
What?
Oh, stating that his speaker was broken.
So what? She's having a one-way phone call.
And he's like messaging the response. And then one night he got really mad at her and stopped talking to her for a couple of days. Then he started talking to her again and she asked what happened. And he said he was in a car accident and ended up in hospital. And he couldn't speak but would continue the phone calls and responding via text. She called the hospital and they had no one in there by that name. She went to America for a month on holiday. She didn't like the M&M chocolate, so he posted M&Ms from Australia to her and roses to her hotel. When she got home, he had posted her gifts such as an LV wallet, Ray-Ban sunnies, Pete Alexander pajamas, $100 notes, Tiffany & Co bracelets, Pandora bracelets, so she's getting everything. She became very suspect and did some investigating of her own and discovered the photos he had been using were photos of a soccer player in Europe, and her cousin at the time worked for Telstra and checked the number he was using, and it came back as his best friend whose name was Maddie.
What?
By this point, she was pretty certain it was a catfish, but wanted to continue getting the gifts. And then he said Maddie was coming to Melbourne to bring her another gift, an LV bag, and to meet up with her in the city. She went with her housemate at the time. She came back to the car, gave the gift, and it was awkward, and then she left. It gets more weird.
So this guy's friend has gone and met her on his behalf.
It gets more weird. This guy named Josh randomly sends a message request on Facebook, having a go at her for ghosting him, and she had no idea who he was. Turns out Maddie was also using Jackie's photos to catfish him and talk to him, pretending to be Jackie. Jackie is the person who's getting all the gifts. Eventually, she confronted her over message and said she knew who she was, and she tried to cover up by sending her photos of some other guy, but it was this girl all along.
Wait, I need to clarify.
Wait, so that was a whole year that went on.
So this one girl is pretending to be a guy, sending Jackie presents, but then she's using Jackie's photos to catfish someone else.
Another guy. But acting as if she's the guy's best friend to drop off the gifts, some of the gifts. But what is she getting out of that other than giving away gifts and money? Like, she's not getting any action. It's kind of weird.
Wow.
Like, what do you get out of catfishing?
Here's an interesting point that I will make mention. Erotomania, also known as Celerar, guys,
After a great start here, guys.
CLERAMBAULT syndrome. Anyway, it's a relatively uncommon paranoid condition that is characterized by an individual's delusions of another person being infatuated with them. It is listed in the DSM-5 as a subtype of a delusional disorder. So that's obviously scraping the surface of a potential reason why some people would catfish. But it would go so deep and it would be so different for every circumstance. But there's so many different disorders and things that we have no idea about.
Yeah.
Like
yeah, so that's like pretty much saying that it's like a delusional state, and you would romanticize and get fixated on something. And then if you're in already that type of personality, you could talk yourself into being like, no, this is real. Like, this is a real thing. And just go deeper and deeper and deeper. And then you're just so far
consumed.
Yeah. Oh my God. There's actually another story that I just remembered. This is a famous story. Like, they did a full doco on it and stuff. Oh my God. It was this NFL player, big NFL player. He had started having this online, romantic thing with this girl. They were in a relationship. They had never met, but he was full head over heels with her. One of the family members has told him, I'm so sorry, she's passed away. And he's distraught. He loses his NFL contract. His whole life gone, like changes. Anyway, it comes out that his partner was a guy the whole time, dresses as a woman, still alive, comes out saying, like, I'm sorry, it was me. And she just ruined his whole life because he got accused of being a liar because it came out like he could have murdered his girlfriend. Like, it was like this whole thing. And the whole time she's just sitting back. So she was one that pretended to be the family member, saying that she had died. It was actually her.
I reckon this person has so much guilt that they're trying to go, how do I back out of this? And they thought, maybe if I pretend that I've passed away, that sets me free.
Yeah.
But then the guilt still remains.
And it just caused more and more
lies and lies and lies.
Yep. And it caused him his whole life to be ruined. And so she's thinking, to get out of it, like what you said, to get out of it, this is my only way. But then it just caused more drama, and she's probably sitting there going, oh my God, you need to go watch it. It's on Netflix, called Untold, The Girlfriend Who Didn't Exist. It would be interesting to hear it from the catfish themselves. Like, I want to talk to someone who has done it.
A reborn catfish.
Yeah.
That wants to clear their conscience. If any of you are listening, if you've ever catfished,
we won't judge.
We promise.
We
you
listen.
just have to sit in the other room. Do we have any more stories from listeners?
Oh, someone wrote something really funny. She said, you need to talk about hat fishing.
He's not a cowboy.
That's what I replied. I said, he's not a cowboy.
He's just receding. Guys, wait. Quick intermission. There's one point of B's single life where she's talking to this guy, and funnily enough, most of the conversation was over social media. But this guy was not a catfish.
No.
He just always had hats on in his photos, and a cowboy hat to be exact.
Yeah.
And he just wouldn't lay off the cowboy hat in every photo.
Yeah, obviously talking to you about it, being like, but he always has a hat, blah, blah, blah.
No, I think you said, you don't mind the cowboy vibes.
Like, I like that. It's kind of hot.
Yeah, and I was like,
say
B, he's not a cowboy, he's just receding. When you're dating in this specific age bracket, you are faced with some of these things where men are just in denial about their hairline receding. Like, there's no shame, brother. There's so many things that you can do if you are insecure about it, but also who cares?
I've been wanting to say that for so long.
Yeah, we've actually banked that one-liner. We didn't know how it was going to come out, but I'm glad that's off our chest now.
Yeah.
One of my best.
It is.
Do we have any more, or would you like me to get into the next part?
Nah, we don't. I don't have any more.
We're going to rattle off some tips and tricks to avoid being catfished.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I like this game.
Okay, first of all, watch for red flags. Too good to be true. They're overly attractive, wealthy, or perfect.
If it's too good to be true, that means it probably is.
They profess strong feelings quickly. Yeah, facts. If you have not met someone and they're going, I love you, incorrect, sir. Ma'am, sir, whoever's doing that.
And that's a common thing through these stories. They do that. They're like, oh, I've never met someone like you. Oh my God, I have such a connection to you. Oh my God, I think I can really see myself with you. Like all these heavy things that even when you're with someone for a year, come on.
Yeah. It always
don't
makes
know
you
that.
feel
Like,
you don't.
but if you have,
How would you know that?
if you've never met someone,
Yeah.
that's not something someone can possibly feel without meeting you.
Yeah. Avoids video calls, makes constant excuses not to FaceTime or Zoom. If you're really interested in getting to know someone and building a connection in your long distance, then you would do it. So it's immediately a red flag if someone avoids that, because they either one aren't committed to getting to know you, or they're, sus, catfish.
Or they're catfishing.
Always has a reason they can't meet up. Long distance, military, overseas work, etc. Obviously, some of those things could be true. Like, what if you are in the military? Anyway. Their stories are inconsistent. Details about their life don't add up or change. Do your own research. Reverse image search to see if their profile pictures are stolen.
That's a big one.
You can do that through Google.
Can you?
Literally take their photo, screenshot it, then run it through this, and it'll bring up every photo that's similar.
Right. Yeah, because a lot of people that I've heard the stories, they'll do that at the very end when it's like too late. And it's almost always like a European famous footy player or something that no one really knows, and it just pops up straight away. So I wonder if the guy with you, if he had put your photo, obviously it would come up as you.
But he also thought from the beginning that it was me.
You, yeah.
Okay, there's two different scenarios. I think this is the confusion. Sometimes people use people's photos and pretend to be them, but sometimes people use people's photos and create a whole nother identity with a new name, everything like that. So just doing your research will help you debunk both scenarios, I guess.
Yeah.
Look them up on social media and ask for specific questions. People faking identities often stumble over details. That's, good point. But you're naturally doing that too if you want to get to know someone, I feel.
That's another thing. Like, what are your thoughts on people who can just have so many different Instagram accounts? I feel like there should be more of a fact check that it is a real person when you're going to make a profile, or like a dating profile or something like that. Like, it should take you through a process.
Flag it better.
Yeah.
But then it's just the responsibility of the consumer as well. Like, if you are dating online and you are a bit sus, then look into it further. It's not really the email domain's responsibility to filter through all of that for you. You just got to have your wits about you.
True.
That leads us to trust your gut. If something feels off, don't ignore the feeling. Talk to a friend about it. Outside perspectives help break the illusion. That's a big one.
Massive.
Because your emotions are obviously involved. They can cloud your judgment.
Yeah.
What do they call it? Rose-coloured glasses or something?
Yeah, massively.
Yeah. What I've noticed is if things seem healthy and make sense from the outside, people ask less questions. But when things are sus or a bit, concerning, people around you get more curious. But I also feel like a lot of people that get catfished hide these interactions they're having.
There's then other scenarios where people who, I guess, prey on women who don't have much family or men, it goes either way, but like if they don't have a lot of family or friends, like they always sort of try to go for people who have no one to talk to. So then they're so deep in their own little world that they get so caught up and then end up being heartbroken, which is so sad.
Yeah. Last one, if you suspect you're being catfished, stop communication, block and report their profile. Report to local cybercrime authorities or Scamwatch agencies like Scamwatch Australia or FTC for the US.
It's interesting.
Yeah, there you have it. There's somewhere you can go.
Good to know.
Record, and report.
That's a heavy topic.
Yeah, I mean, being a victim to that sort of... Your face just then, you're like... Fair income, get around that. Get around that topic's pretty fucking heavy. Doing the pod has made me want to learn so much because
Yes.
there's so, like, as we speak, I'm like, there's just so much I don't know. Even not last week, the week before, you talking about the bloody pyramids. I'm thinking, I've never.
I can talk to you. Oh,
never.
never. Don't worry. We will go.
Don't worry.
We're going to go deep into so many things because the stuff, you don't know half the shit that I actually watch. Like, I watch some weird stuff.
My brain went so many places.
Like, the stuff I'm actually interested in, I don't think you would expect. And you just learn a lot about that history and all these stuff, debunking all these things. And we can go so deep in. It's mainly US, like government and all this stuff.
Oh.
Like, you would die at all the things that is fake over there.
No way.
No, for real.
Yeah, see,
Mind blown.
I just want to learn.
Yeah. It has made me want to learn, bigger words and bigger words. But my
True
vocabulary, I want to expand it
Yep.
and not swear so much. Like, it's good to, when I listen back to our episodes, I'm not listening because I'm like, oh my God, we're so good. I'm listening because I'm trying to get feedback and obviously learn.
I think we have, since the beginning, we both would say a lot. We both would say like, and you were like, I can't help it. That it is some sort of Aussie slang to say that.
Yeah.
But I have tried to minimize it, like intentionally being mindful of that. And the swearing thing too. That's actually come around as feedback twice. We're not bad compared to some others.
Yeah.
But fuck me. I'm going to leave the room. You have 5 seconds to say bad words. Go.
There's just so much more effectiveness using a swear word in a way where it's intentional.
Rather than like a filler
Just like,
word.
yeah. Like, if you're telling a story and you add to it and you say it in a way that it's like, whoa, like they feel it more. Whereas if you're just dropping it, I mean, we don't swear that often, but sometimes I'll just say it and I'm like, well, I didn't really need to say it then.
But I said it 3 times in one sentence.
Yeah. And so it takes away from the oomph that swear word can have.
Yeah.
You know?
I like it.
So
I fucking like it.
fucking love that shit. We're learning. All right, before we wrap up, we're going to read a couple more comments that our listeners have written to us on our Spotify, which we love. I can't say this girl's username. It's like Matcha ZJK.
ZJ. Yeah, it's probably just that.
She said, girls, this pod is gold. I stumbled across this at work and it seriously brightened my day as a slightly homesick Aussie girl living abroad.
Oh,
I know.
I love that.
So nice. I was like, I'm glad we can make you feel at home just a little bit.
Honestly, I think the biggest the biggest perk and like a win of doing the pod is connection. We are so grateful for you guys and we hope you enjoyed another episode. Who knows what's to come because we planned the day before.
Cue the holistic music. Remember when I said that? You're like, no, we're not doing that.